Hi, my name is Todd Harris, and I am the Vice Chancellor of Health and Wellness at Wilmington State University. Counseling Services reports to me, and as such, I see a connection between the work that counselors do with students and the reflections offered in Chapter 18 titled, "What Roles Should Student Affairs Educators Play in Attending to Students' Religious and Spiritual Needs?" In the first section of the chapter, Rockenbach reminds us of how intensely personal religious experience can be. She suggests that spirituality encompasses religion, and by doing so defines the core dimensions of spirituality as including purpose, wholeness, authenticity, transcendence, and connectedness. These dimensions easily parallel the themes that my counselors discuss daily. In fact, the search for purpose in one's life is one of the most critical cognitive and affective themes with traditional aged college students. When asked what role educators should play in meeting students' religious and spiritual needs, Rockenbach's immediate response is a critical one. Our profession has been grounded in the personal growth of students from the early stages of our development. In fact, students' personal and religious growth has been, on some level, a focus since the early colonial colleges. Recognizing that personal growth often intersects with one's religious and/or spiritual growth invites our counselors to create space for students to freely work through their conflicts, discover their inner self, find connection in the world around them and beyond, and find purpose for their lives. Rockenbach states that though many institutions have dropped their religious affiliation, there is compelling evidence to show that religion is still present in colleges and universities. There is a trend toward voluntary religion, and as institutions become more religiously tolerant, vital religious practice and teaching will expand on campus. This certainly suggests that as students begin to experience an increasing curiosity and exploration around religion and spirituality, these issues will surface in counseling sessions. Often students struggle when there is incongruence with what they were taught to believe in the religions and how that either affirms or refutes what they now believe to be true about their identity. This incongruence offers our counselors an opportunity to help students make meaning out of their religious experience and how it factors into their sense of self, connection to others, and relationship to the divine. I appreciate how Rockenbach acknowledges the importance of creating a space for students to explore their religious and spiritual dimensions of their personhood, for these have historically been components of our work in student affairs. In fact, in Michelle Murray's response, she emphasizes that it is student affairs' professional mandate to educate the whole person. Therefore, educators need to free themselves from the boundaries that sometimes preclude them from engaging students' religious and spiritual questions, doubts, and discoveries. Chapter 20, titled, "What is the Gap? Why is the gap so wide between espousing a social justice agenda to promoting learning and enacting it?" highlights how counselors might serve to advocate for social justice issues. Counselors are privy to hearing students' very personal narratives. I suggest that in a professional, confidential meeting, counselors might compare notes and find common themes of injustice and inequity in the community ethos and campus structures. Their findings, if shared, could bring awareness to change agents. As Zylstra points out, higher education is not designed in an equitable way for all students to succeed. He continues on to say that addressing issues of social justice becomes multifaceted. Often the issues are elusive and difficult to understand. Again, the stories that students share with counselors can be very telling about conditions that contribute to inequities and perceived or real access to resources and power. Zylstra encourages us to advocate for underrepresented students and work toward creating equity on campus. In fact, speaking out against injustices alone is not enough. We must position ourselves at the table to champion the cause for positive changes for equality. We often find those whose voices are the strongest are the leaders representing single groups. The counseling office tends to work with students from diverse backgrounds and understands the stories of varied groups. As Zylstra recommends, They can advocate for multicultural education that integrates individuals with groups outside their own and helps them understand the social, political, and historical influences that have shaped their identities. Best practice methods might be to advance multicultural social justice education by seeking to address inequities by promoting critical questioning of democracy, the analysis of systems and oppression, and engagement in social action. I often like to remind my counselors that we are in the retention business. In other words, our goal is to help students find solutions to the troubles they face that diminish their abilities to fully engage in their academic and social endeavors. Zylstra states that student retention has a direct correlation with students' sense of belonging in a school. Students rarely feel a sense of belonging as a result of programming, but rather through the relationships they build. When the relationships cross sociocultural and historical boundaries, we typically exhibit a stronger commitment to justice and equality. Thank you.